loud and at least have the mic up to me pretty close. We do Stained Glass Labs, which does events for the entrepreneurial community. We also have an incubator accelerator that we're going to be launching pretty soon. Just really blessed to be in the space and blessed to be around some incredible new advancements in technology that we think are kind of pushing us forward as humanity. And so as we roll through these slides, I just want you guys to realize that I'm one of those would-be entrepreneurs that was in the serial entrepreneurs that was in the big corporate space for a while at Alcatel-Lucent and Bell Labs. And so these are part of the trends that we've noticed. So this is you, and not necessarily you because that would be tough to get everybody there, but in general, like humanity at creation, we were connected, and we're connected beings. And as soon as we move forward in life, we feel like we want to be in re-enter that state of connectedness. And a lot of what we believe and our view is at our labs is that it's this connectivity and this yearning connectivity that wants us to be driven towards technology. And when you think about this guy right now and you look at startups like Sproutly and others, what you start to realize is that just like today's children don't know a world without mobile connectivity, and their older brothers and sisters don't know a world without the internet. So in the very near future, people like these children of tomorrow are going to be the same kids that only know a world with wearables. I hope you guys know that this is actually the new Panasonic 3D version of television. And actually what it is it's a cave painting. And so what you'll notice is that this is a picture of what our homes have changed into over the years. I don't know if anybody had this cool deco style. I wish that this was in my house today. But this is also what the world of tomorrow is going to look like from a connected home standpoint and standpoint. But what drives this movement of human evolution? What drives us towards a full-on focus is this sense of longing, the sense of connectivity, the sense of drive in the space. And so what you've seen over the last 10 years is with the advent of the personal computer, we've seen a change within about every 10, 15 years of an advancement of technology. So, we see the laptop, we see the PC, and then we see the next trends in mobile and wearables as it being, the tablet revolution or the smartphone revolution. All these things are clipping by at a pace of about 10 years apiece. But with the advent of wearable technology of the last 3 to 4 years, with the advancement of products like Basis, hey Marco out there, and Jawbone and Fitbit, is you've seen us being driven more towards a cohesive movement of interconnectedness and an Internet of Things world. And so what we do is, or what we've seen is this ability to transmit data, both input and output, across multiple variant devices on a human person. And where does this leave us? Where does this take us in the next few years? So for those of you who think that wearables is something that's about to be coming in the near future, what you guys should realize is that there are hundreds of millions of devices that are coming on and being lit online right now that are wearable, that people are wearing, whether it be like these stylus watches that we have out there, or it be the ocular pieces, or it be the clothing pieces. It's with the predictions of a lot of the analysts that are saying that there's going to be around 250 billion. It's a huge market. Upwards of $50 billion by 2018. What we can really kind of stand to see is a market actually taking shape in the early days. And I was part of the early iPhone App Store revolution when there was a unity being formed by the iPhone App Store, where I saw the actual emergence of applications across the Apple market. And what I noticed at that time is there was a certain energy in the air around what could be and what was going to be on behalf of the entrepreneurs. Another thing that I noticed is that there was a keen ability for people to really figure how to monetize and make money off of mobile, aside from the larger corporations and carriers. And there was a sense of hope out there, amidst that community. And so what we've noticed here lately is that all those three things are beginning to emerge in this new overarching ecosystem that we call, as a catch-all, which is wearables. Another thing that we should take notice of is that, that's interesting. is that there's significant investment that is coming up in the market. There's not a larger corporation that was influential and impactful within the early rise of internet or mobile that isn't sticking in hundreds of $1,000,000 in R&D budget to actually move the products along. But you'll also notice something different is that, amidst the Googles and the Microsofts and the Sonys, there's significant investment being uptaken in products such as, or from corporations such as Under Armour, or large CPG units such as Mondelez, or Nike getting into the mix. And so this is a fundamentally different switch or change that's happened in the market that we haven't seen for a long time, which is non-technology companies beginning to embrace and engage with their end users with technology. And this is where fashion and technology kind of meets. And what this is kind of beginning, or what we're kind of seeing is what surfer culture calls is like catching the wave at just the right time. If you're a little bit too early, when you surf, which is usually where I am, you end up getting crushed by the waves. And if you're too late, you'll end up missing those waves. But right now, what we're seeing is kind of a perfect emergence of technology, connectivity, of everything just kind of coming together, of financing to really push this market forward. But there are issues. And what I wanted to kind of come about and talk about is it's, being mobile in my DNA and knowing a lot of you guys, like we've seen a lot of these issues and problems before. Luckily for us, the market is kind of a little bit more nascent than it needs to be, and a little bit more immature, so that we can actually head off a lot of these issues. And what I wanted to point out is there were a few of them. And these are the platform issues that we've identified as a lab and as a group. And I want to kind of drill down in those today to kind of give you guys something to take away and understand. Keying in on the thing word that we're all like tired of, which is fragmentation. We're seeing it again in a way that I think is exponentially compounded, where there isn't a large enough market space right now for the individual users. There's, with the advent of a lot of the smartphones and smartwatches, what you're seeing is multi-variant screen sizes, different sensors with different type of use cases. There are hundreds of different configurations to create applications and build them. And what we saw that happened in mobile, during the advent of it, was Apple really came across and created a uniform screen size system, a uniform OS, a uniform go-to-market path and strategy. I don't know if you guys can remember when we had 70+ app stores, because that was like 2 years ago. And now what we're seeing again is kind of that emergence of the same type of culture where there's basically two operating systems, one that hasn't launched yet with Apple, and Android. And what we noticed with Android is that just as it was very difficult or nearly impossible for entrepreneurs to monetize Android platforms early on, you're going to have those same type of issues. In fact, until Samsung came along, there wasn't a large corporation that actually was able to monetize the Android platform effectively. And what you'll see, or what we've seen recently, is that it's kind of flipped the script, where instead of Samsung being the follower, Samsung is now one of the leaders in the wearable technology movement. I think that they've caught on. Apple is now going to be the follower in the Me Too product. And in the middle is Android. And a lot of the big issues that we saw that creeped in with Android and with the Android go-to-market is the fact that the business development teams weren't able to close down the deals in order to create a uniform path to market, a uniform operating system update, a uniform screen size amongst all the carriers. Those are the same problems that we're about to see impacted with wearables today. And so as you see a myriad of different watches, the smart glasses, be it the heads-up display, or you see the deep-down displays, the problems that you're going to see in the near future with creating applications, with creating entrepreneurial-focused startup communities, with creating products that actually monetize, are going to be the same types of issues that we had in the early days of mobile. And the question is who's actually going to come unify the market and create a standard for us all to be able to develop and create interesting applications that work across multivariant platforms. I don't know if you guys have seen this product, but I'll drop it on stage real quick for you. So this product is the Basis watch. It has at least 7 different sensors on it, and it is one of many watches that are going to be out there. Everyone's going to be developing or delivering their own developer programs. Everyone's going to be trying to figure out a different way to bring these paths to market. But until we as a community can figure out how to establish some certain set standards or be able to trust in some certain set capabilities, that market's going to be impeded dramatically. The next thing that we've also noticed is that there was a lack of investment was one of the bigger issues. We're seeing a lot of investors kind of stepping up to the plate now, whether it be the Glass Coalition with KPCB and Google Ventures and others, or it's a few of these guys that are there on stage. What we were able to do here recently was get together with some of the more influential investors. We had two rules. They can't be asses, and they've got to be able to be proven to invest in the space. And so here's a list of probably some of the top angel investors and VCs that we've been able to see come up. And here recently we've seen an uptick in around 30 to 40% more investment, kind of with our internal numbers versus last year's investors. So we're starting to see people actually step up and invest in these companies, but it's still not enough. Until there's a significant amount of early stage investment and funding to bring people to market, then we're going to have an issue. The third problem that we've noticed in the market that needs to be overcome is more on the people developing the application side. So, which is around the rapid prototyping. The slide isn't there, so we'll just pretend like they don't exist. But in all reality, it's not necessarily easy to create software, but it's fairly inexpensive when you're the only type of resource that you need is a human resource. However, when you're developing products and sending products to market in various different ways, be it like a hardware technology, be it a glass display or a watch, or any type of wearable clothing. I mean, just to kind of line out, there's basically 3 different pathways for wearables today. One is wearable or smart clothing, as we call it. One is smart glasses, and the other one is smart watches. In order to develop those platforms, you need basically the ability to create and iterate. With 3D printing, we're actually seeing people begin to use those rapidly and develop really interesting stuff. The average price to build a prototype thing used to be around $150,000 to build a piece of hardware. And then if something doesn't work, you have to go back, re-prototype it, and build it out. What we've noticed with a lot of the 3D printing and with groups like TechShop. Have you guys heard of TechShop? So what TechShop does, it allows for a small fee for people to go in, leverage the 3D printers, and begin to cast and build and create these things. As kind of a monthly subscription. It's really fantastic. So with the advent of these 2 things coming, we're starting to see the overcoming of the rapid prototyping problem. Now, just to kind of go about what we're all about as a company and why we see this as important. So we feel like there's 2 different things in order to make an ecosystem work and grow and really blossom. Now the first of those things we call it help, and so it's help getting connected to the corporate development people who are actually funding, building these things. The education, so the educational side. So there are movements around, be it General Assembly or others or us, they're actually trying to educate different types of corporate developers to come in and build applications, be it for talk or be it for gears or be it for this impending iWatch, to actually educate developers to build these different things. The next thing that's needed that's very important is office space. So being able to set up space that's industrialized and approved so that people can actually build and wire these things is actually really hard. And then lastly, press exposure. I don't know if you guys have been reading or opened up a magazine. It's very hard to go anywhere and not read about wearable technology, how we're all connected, and how it's going to either doom our lives or save us. We're seeing a lot of those things. And the next thing that's starting to emerge in an ecosystem for it to really grow is this concept of hope. And I know that sounds hippie and a little bit cheesy. I totally get it, but really, when you look at what drives entrepreneurs and not just developers, I mean, the guys that actually create businesses around the product, there has to be these elements, which is, do I believe that I can IPO with this? Do I believe that there's going to be acquisitions or funding or mentorship? And with the most recent funding round of Jawbone and what we've seen with Fitbit and others, what you'll notice is that there's actually an emergence of a significant amount of investment coming through. And so, with that, that's kind of our bird's eye view of how we see the ecosystem going and growing. And I'd love to talk to you guys about it because we're pretty excited about the space ourselves. So thank you very much.